Welcome to Georgia STEM Day 2025. I'm Babita Metellus, Program Manager at TIGET, but today my new title is your STEM Day MC. And guess what? Governor Kemp has officially proclaimed today as STEM Day. So we're celebrating the power of science, technology, engineering, and math. And of course, and you are invited to all the party that we're going to be having later today. So I want everybody, for those who are watching, let me know what school and what is the county. So I got two assignments for you today. So first thing first, you're gonna tell me if you're a teacher or if you're at home, tell me what school you are from and the county. And of course, if you're watching it at home, let us know if you're watching it at home or if with your class or with your family. All right. So that I want to make sure I want to get this is going to be an engaging. I'm sending energy, so I want to feel all the energy coming back at me because we have some wonderful panelists for you today. So we're going to get started. First thing first, I want to make sure that you guys are aware that we are recording this session, okay? And then also, if you have questions in the chat or if you have questions about anything that you see here today for the panelists, for the presenters, ask your teacher, or your teacher can drop those questions in the chat for you, or if you are, I'll have your teacher be on camera to be able to share those questions. And for those, I know there are some teachers as well that may not have any class today, so you are welcome to come on camera if you have those questions. All right, so okay, that's assignment number 3. All right, so next what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna dive into our STEM Day menu. All right, we have like a plethora of things for you, but first, since today's STEM Day, I'm about learning, you're learning today, so I want to test your knowledge, okay? So I want you to drop these answers in the chat. No, you cannot use Alexa. No, you cannot use Siri. No, you cannot use ChatGPT to go find the answers, okay? So here we go. First question. What programming language was primarily used to build the Android system? Okay, what programming language was primarily used to build the Android system? Question number 2. What is the only letter in the English alphabet that does not appear in the periodic table? I did not know this. That just tells you science was not my favorite major. I don't know if any of the panelists know these answers. They probably do because they are so smart. They're smarter than me probably. But I want to make sure that you guys get a chance. So here we go. I'm going to review those questions again. What programming language was primarily used to build the Android operating system? Question number 2, what is the only letter? I did not know this for sure. I was like, really? What is the only letter in the English alphabet that does not appear in the periodic table? So I want to be able to make sure that you guys put the answers in the chat. And if you're the only one in your school that has the answer that get the answer, you get bragging rights today. You can tell your school, Miss Babita from Tagat says, I have bragging rights because I get the answers for my school. All right, so let's reveal the answers. All right, wait, I'm going to ask you to help me out here. Here we go. So the first answer to it is Java was the programming language that was primarily used to build the Android system. And if you say J is the only letter in the alphabet that does not appear in the periodic table. I don't know about you, but I've already learned something today. See, we're learning today. So like I said, like I promised, we have a plethora of things for you to do today. So I want to make sure we get to it because we have some wonderful panelists that are just waiting to meet you. So first, we're going to go over the agenda this morning. So this morning, we have our panel discussion, how STEAM and AI shape tomorrow's innovators, which is you. Ethical hacking with radio waves, because you ever wonder, how do people tap into other people's computer? Art in the Ocean, which is going to be with the Georgia Aquarium. And of course, just like you're learning, your teachers are learning too. So that way they can make you a better person. They can make you even smarter than me. Tools for teachers, learn to code with Code Club. And of course, we know the weather, it gets hot, it gets cold. Like last week, it got really cold here in Georgia. So that means we got to know exactly how does that happen? How do the meteorologists predict what's going on? So weather in the future with NOAA. And of course, when your body moves, when I move like this, you move like that. That is the art of science. So the folks from Theater Alliance are here this morning to teach us theater art strategies in the science classroom. And then you'll see me again in order to kind of come back and do the closing remark. But first, To officially kick off our 2025 STEM Day, we have our president of TAG, Technology Association of Georgia, Larry K. Williams, and then follow is going to be Dr. Loretta Daniels, who is our executive director for TAG Ed, and then it's going to be Stephen Ferguson. So, but first, we're going to turn it over to Larry. Larry, and happy STEM Day to you.
Babita, thank you so much for that energetic kickoff to our STEM Day 2025. Good morning, everyone. As Babita said, I'm Larry K. Williams. I'm the president and CEO of the Technology Association of Georgia and our TAG Education Collaborative that really does focus on the next generation of careers and career paths in STEM. It's an honor for me to welcome you all to STEM Day. We are thrilled to have so many bright students, educators, and industry leaders here today and coming together to celebrate the power of STEM and STEAM, all very important for the future of our talent and workforce. You know, STEM is shaping the future of our economy, our communities, and the world. At TAG, we are committed to driving innovation and providing opportunities that bridge the gap between education and industry. Events like this are essential in inspiring the next generation of technologists, engineers, problem solvers. Georgia is a global hub of innovation. We are living in a time of artificial intelligence and in quantum computing, and there will be opportunities for careers and even entrepreneurs to create new and next generation innovation and creating new companies. And the opportunities are boundless. So it's an exciting time to be you in this marketplace and where you are in your development as a technologist. You know, we always have to recognize our partners. This day wouldn't be possible without our incredible partners, educators, and industry supporters. A special thanks to STEM at Georgia Tech, the Georgia Technology Institute, Research Institute, for investing in the future of STEM and helping us create a pathway for student success. Students, today, this is about you. So engage, ask questions, explore the possibilities in STEM. You are the future of technology. You are the future of innovation. And we can't wait to see where your journey takes you. So happy STEM Day. And with that, I am delighted to pass the microphone, as we say, to Dr. Loretta Daniels and also to Stephen Ferguson, who will continue this wonderful event.
Good. So that was a beautiful welcome, Larry. Good morning, everyone. I am having some camera issues, so I just wanted to show my face this morning, my smiley face, to say hello. I'm going to go off camera and just welcome you all today. So I am the executive director of TAG Education Collaborative, and it's such a pleasure to have so many students here today in the STEAM leaders. Our mission is to connect students like you with industry opportunities, with mentorship, with real world STEM and STEAM experiences. That's so important in today's economy and in today's workforce. The workforce is changing, and events like STEM Day provide exposure to career opportunities in coding, in engineering, AI, and so much more. So our goal is to ensure that every student, no matter your background, no matter your family, no matter where you live, that you have an opportunity to access and shape your future with STEM. That's very important to us. So I want to recognize that, you know, educators and industry leaders, we couldn't do this without you, without having your dedication to mentor and to guide, you know, these individuals, you know, to be successful. We want to invest in you as well. So a huge thank you to all of our panelists, the workforce facilitators from Alliance Theater, Georgia Aquarium, the National Weather Service, Raspberry Pi, She Learns AI, Georgia Tech, and the LMPM Consulting Group. I just have to also thank our TAG staff. They have done a wonderful job pulling this together. And I think today we have well over 5,000 students and teachers, you know, attending today. That's huge for us, a huge impact. So, and students, I want you to make the most of your day today. I want you to engage with your presenters, ask plenty of questions, I'm an educator myself. I'm a professor. I know how important it is to learn and how exciting it is to learn. So I want you to engage, and I want you to think about what you learned today. How can you turn this into a career for yourself? So I'm Dr. Loretta Daniels, and I'm wishing you a very happy STEM Day. So now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Stephen Ferguson.
Thank you very much, and a great overview. It's always a pleasure to work with you, Dr. Daniels. You know, I want to first start out by saying good morning, and really it's incredible to see so many young minds gathered here, eager to learn about the endless possibilities in STEM. You know, when I was young, the opportunities, were just kicking off for STEM. And today to see so much just makes me excited to be a part of TAG and things like this. I'm Stephen Ferguson, Managing Director at Georgia AIM, Georgia Artificial Intelligence Manufacturing. And we're focused on helping young professionals find their path in manufacturing, technology, and innovation. The demand for skilled professionals in manufacturing is growing every day, whether it's through apprenticeships, internships, or specialized training programs. There are many, many ways to gain hands-on experience and build a successful career in a high-demand industry like manufacturing, advanced manufacturing. Georgia AIM, we're here to help support you on that journey through programs like those offered through TAG Ed, helping to connect individuals with opportunities in advanced manufacturing, as well as workforce development. Today is all about you, though. This is your time to explore and dream big. STEM is for everyone, and with your curiosity and determination, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. So enjoy today, take advantage of every opportunity to learn, and happy STEM Day. Back to you, Babita.
Thank you so much, Stephen. And like they said, today is nothing but all about you. So you definitely got to take advantage. Thank you, Dr. Loretta. Thank you, Larry. So moving on. AI is changing the game. You're going to keep hearing this today. AI is changing the game from self-driving, which I saw one yesterday and I was with a friend. And I said, that car, there's nobody in there. They were amazed. They're like, no, I'm not getting in this. I said, I want to try. I'm hoping, I don't know anybody. If you or your family have ever been in a self-driving car, I want to know about it. Drop it in the chat because I am so curious because I think that is so exciting. I don't have to do anything, let the car do all the driving. So from self-driving cars to smart chatbots, it is shaping the future of innovation. We are it. This is it. But what does that mean for you? So today we'll explore how STEAM and AI are creating new opportunities for next generation of thinkers and problem solvers. And that's you. That's you. So let's welcome our moderator, Leda Montañez. She is the founder and CEO of LMPM Consulting. With over 21 years in operations and 4 in IT, she's a leader in program development, project management, and cybersecurity. So get ready for an insightful discussion. Leda, welcome and happy STEM Day.
Happy STEM Day, Babita. It's great to be here.
Wonderful. So I'm going to turn it over to you. So you at the wheel now. We don't have a self-driving car, so that's going to be you today.
All right. Thank you, Babita. So for this first segment of today's activities, we will be hearing from 3 professionals that will talk to us about just STEM and the importance of technology and how STEM and AI shape tomorrow's innovators. So we have first and foremost Dr. Phoenix Culberson, Associate Director of Employer Relations at Georgia State University's Robinson College of Business. He's passionate about integrating emerging technologies into education and workforce development. With a doctor in public administration from Valdosta State University, his research focuses on the diffusion of VR and AI innovations in career centers. He is a sought-after speaker on the topic of AI, career readiness, and the future of work, having presented at various professional associations and delivered webinars on AI and VR adoption. Committed to fostering social mobility, He advocates for AI and STEM education to expand opportunities for underrepresented populations, highlighting how technology-driven learning experiences can empower diverse talent and create pathways to high-impact careers. We will also be hearing from Nikhil Cassetti. He is a software engineer at Intuit with around 13 years of experience in technology, in the technology industry. He's spanning fintech, that's financial technology, retail, telecom, and state and federal projects. He has expertise in AI, machine learning, cloud computing, and software architecture with a strong background in building scalable systems and AI-driven applications. He's passionate about emerging technologies. He's actively exploring advancements in AI automation and intelligent computing. In this segment, we also will be hearing from Liberty White. She leverages her expertise in AI, digital marketing, and education to drive workforce development and foster diversity in technology. As CEO of Chosen Media, she integrates cutting-edge AI with digital marketing to enhance engagement for clients like ESPN, the WNBA's Atlanta Dream, and Startup Canada Peel. Through innovation, she learns AI. Liberty empowers women with essential tech skills, aiming to bridge the gender gap in technology. A seasoned educator and FAA certified drone pilot, she produces global content as host for Office Hours Global and has reached over 140,000 viewers with her AI tutorials. Liberty's work has been featured on national media, and she has served as a judge for Amazon's Alexa Prize Social Bot Challenge. We're very fortunate to have these panelists join us today, so I'll turn it over to Dr. Phoenix Culberson.
Well, hello everybody. It is a pleasure to be here today. That was a wonderful introduction, so I'll be very short on the bio. Again, I'm Dr. Phoenix Culberson from Georgia State University, Robinson College of Business. I see Dr. Joseph Culbertson on the screen, which is also correct because Joseph is my middle name. So I'm happy to be here today and talk about how AI, specifically as it relates to the job search process, career readiness, and really getting students prepared to navigate that experience from school to college or whatever that post-secondary education looks like, and then to your career. So super excited to be here today and speak to the young minds and let them know about the plentiful opportunities that are available now. And I can only imagine the opportunities that will be available as they begin to enter the workforce.
Thank you. Nikhil?
Thanks for that introduction, and happy to see everyone here. It would be great if I could see all the students too, but that's huge number, definitely, so we can't see everyone. So coming back to me, I think most of the introduction was told, but I still want to say like few lines. So I have a bachelor's and master's in computer science, and like with over 13 years of experience across different sectors. I mean, it's just that I was not like curious about STEM, even like back when I was back like 13, like 15 years when I started working around this. It just happens sometimes. But now that we are here to tell you like why do you need to be in STEM, it would be great. And also I'm passionate like usually about mentoring the students and also like promoting this STEAM education or like any other education or like any help that students or anyone needs in general. So for me, like STEM, it's all about like STEM or STEAM or like any other thing. It's all about like how curious you are and how you want to solve a problem. And also like I would say it's more about uh, it's more about like solving your own problems than solving others problems for the community. So it's always comes about like what you dream about, and then if you need it, if you really want it, you'll do it. So that's where like steam or stem or even anything out of stem, it's all about how you want it. So that is where you have to tend to go ahead and work towards it. And I'm here today to give my knowledge or like help the students understand how STEM, STEAM, and anything can help for them to grow towards their careers.
Very nice. Thank you. Liberty?
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Lita, I'm a little bit of an interactive person. So I know it's super early in the morning, folks, students, but I'm going to ask you all a question. And I want to see you put it in the chat. I was going to do a little drawing, but you can imagine in the middle of your screen, there's AI and STEAM. And I want you to let me know what words or what fields come to mind when you think about STEAM, because that'll also help us as panelists to just really get an idea of where you're at, what you think about in that area. And I'll even ask, even though my veteran co-panelists here, like, give us a word, type it in the chat. Like, what word comes to mind when you think of AI or when you think of STEAM? Do you think of, say, robotics? Is that something that comes to mind? Or, Dr. Culberson, what comes to mind when you think of that, when you think of STEAM? I'm waiting for the students. So I'm like, let's get some of the panelists.
Sure, I just dropped it in the chat, but I always think innovation. I think that is a very broad word to capture really all the themes of what STEAM is, and even how far STEAM has come over time. In the past 20 years, STEAM has been around, but even the introduction of the A from STEM into STEAM, and then how much technology has changed over the years. And so I think innovation is a great word to really
So
capture.
that's what. So I couldn't see the chat because I thought and nobody. But thank you, students, for responding. I see that.
Oh,
So
yes.
game developers, science, and someone thinks of a building or science. So like all of these things, artificial intelligence in some way, some form, is integrated into that. So if you're currently in a program at school, or even, and I think about myself and my background, and I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit later, but even in doing like web development. And then now we have so many tools like Cursor that will be able to help just accelerate some of your coding. So again, I'm Liberty White, which She Learns AI, and we are building bridges to help break the barriers to help women gain confidence in the AI economy.
Very nice. Thank you, Liberty. That's a great cue for the audience to chime in. We've got answers like kinetic science, game developers. We've got the EV3 First Lego League. So thank you for that thought-provoking question. Now, I have a couple of questions for each of you. So we'll start with Dr. Phoenix. Career preparation and AI and STEM. What skills are essential for students to be aware of, and educators for that matter, for the future of AI and STEM?
That is a really great question. And I think it's two-sided. On one hand, it is very important that students understand technical skills. And the big part of STEM is that, right, to provide that opportunity to teach those students those technical skills. But in addition to that, something that we like to emphasize are those practical or transferable skills, such as the ability to tell stories, the ability to critically think and analyze situations, and some of those things that really will carry you through your entire academic and your career experience because they are so essential to everything that you do. And so I say that there is great ways though that the technology can leverage the development of those skills. So teaching students how to really tell great stories to capture what they're trying to say. Or if you have data, right? Data is a gold mine, but in and of itself, it doesn't mean too much, but you can use it and manipulate it to tell a story. And so we like to call that the art of storytelling. And so that is one of the biggest things that even we see in college students, that there's a lot of area of improvement. So I think that the sooner that students begin to learn the art of storytelling and using stories to tell about their experiences, their highlights, to even just think about like when they're presenting about classroom topics and working on things in group projects, can they tell a story of what things mean so that it really captures the essence of who they are and what they bring to the table?
Yes, those technical skills mixed in with the soft skills, that is a powerful combination. Now, Nikhil, what got you into technology? What got you into AI and STEM if you reflect back on your educational career? At what point did you decide this was your track? You're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say like I never had a thought that like I would definitely go into STEM. It's more like when I was a kid, definitely I just want to play around, like go out, do something. Like I mean, like back then it was really hard, like someone to come and say like what is really good, or like because there's no like not like many much like media or like the mediums where we can reach out to people and learn from different people in a snap of a time. So that was very hard. So it's just that I learned myself. It's more about a little bit push from our parents as well, like to understand, okay, to just sit down and like, what do you like and all that. So it's just not that they push you or like pressurize you. It's more about you need to talk to your parents, you need to talk to your friends, you need to talk to other engineers or like whatever you like to do. So I, as said again, right, it's more about like, it need not be STEM. It's more about what you like to do. So like just imagine like growing up my parents used to say like if you like something just think about it before you sleep and probably you'll get it. So that was like when I was a kid. So by the time I wake up they keep something under my pillow so that it just to make me believe that I have to keep doing something, keep imagining something and work for it. So that is how, so it's all about imagine. So all the problems and all the things that we are, even like when Babita was saying about the self-driving cars, right? So it comes from an imagination, like probably whoever has started it first, they just probably imagine, okay, I just want to do something just sitting in the car and I don't want to drive. So they just imagine it. So you have to imagine what you want, only then you try to work on it. So like everyone has their own imaginations, everyone wants to do some new different things. So that is where they have to start thinking. So what is the path forward? So like some imaginations can be like way high, like they just want to like go to space like every day, like they go out of the house. So it's not practical. So they have to think about what is really practical, talk to other people and see what they can do and understand what are the things that they can get into. So it's more about guidance. And it's always I suggest even like students or my anyone to not really, it's not necessary that you have to reach out to people who are like at a very high level, like a director or like bigger software engineers or like bigger people or something like that. You have to start with everyone. Like even you have to talk to people who have failed at doing something because you can learn a lot from them. So it's not about only successful people. Successful people have many other things they can share, but you also talk to everyone, so you can think about multiple dimensions and see how you can get towards it.
Very nice. So imagination. So dare to dream. Reach out to your community and ask questions. Be inquisitive, and then follow those threads in the direction of whichever it takes you.
Yeah, definitely. So it's always communication. Like anywhere, it's all about communication. Some people are very, I mean, like probably it's they are very talented or probably is very smart. It just comes from themselves, so they just do most of the things by themselves. But it's not for everyone. Like for me, I'm not really that smart. I mean, I have to talk to people to learn different things from other people. So that is how
I
I'm
think
here. Like, so that is how it's not that over the time, it's not that just I built it myself. It's about like how I meet people, what they say, how what are the things I take into my mind and what I learn from others. So it's all about like different stories. It can be from their culture, it can be there from background, it can be from what they do day to day. It's all about different things. Yeah.
Nikhil, you're smart enough to know that you have to ask questions. So that's a big step, and that could be a challenge that some people really have to kind of get over. Is just asking questions.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah, Liberty. I see a lot of head nodding. Would you like to chime in?
Yeah, I was actually thinking that because I know there are some homeschool people on, and I think about how I got into what we call now STEAM. But I was about 6 years old, and it was like one night at church, a young man in university told my dad, and I'm first generation, so my parents are from Jamaica, and he said, "Get a computer in the house." And this is the decades ago. So then my dad got a computer in the house, and that just really sparked, just as Nikhil said, sparked imagination, we were playing Tetris. So that shows how far back this was, but playing Tetris and getting used to it and thinking through things. And really, this is more so for any parents that are on that, like our responsibility in creating pathways for the curiosity that was spoken about even earlier, because from that enabled me as I went on. Now I skip some class time, but when I got to university, that I said, you know what, this is now when the web was coming out. And even though I was in university getting a major in sociology, minor English and French, but I was like, oh, this web thing, maybe I can make websites on the side. So then I went to college, I switched my classes around. I went to college in the morning and did a program, Macromedia, which is now Adobe. So again, dating myself, but I did that so that because of my curiosity, I was already had some entrepreneurial incentives back in the day, but that set the precedence for now what we, now we're in AI, but if we take the same principles of being curious, you're hearing new technology and just just trying it out. Always tell people, just try. And I tried it, and it was a great bet because that is, the fundamental and the evolution that we are on to where we are right now. So just really, when you hear things, we have perplexity now. So throw it in perplexity and ask some questions, which is one of those bots out there that you can use and then give you sources. But that is a way that if the technology is changing so fast that instead of trying to understand everything, having like a thought process of, okay, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to watch a YouTube video. Like there are some very practical ways that it can help you help your students and keep them on track.
That's, you bring up the educator piece, right? So, STEM and AI, it's not just about the technical jobs where you're directly dealing with it. It's also about those of us that grow up to be educators, and understanding the technology. And it is a gift to be able to then teach others effectively and efficiently. And so on that point, I would like to hear from each of you. Liberty first, Nikhil second, Dr. Phoenix last. What can schools do better to prepare students to enter into the AI technology world?
Yeah, so one of the things I like, and I even do it with my daughter right now, I have a 10-year-old daughter, is one of the things being like critical thinking. I'm always asking her, because at the foundation of everything, and I almost want to say life, is how do we solve problems? So by whether that be some project-based learning that happens inside of the school, whether that be after-school programs that take place that help to reinforce these elements, that'll help students to be light years ahead. I'll even give a quick example. Even coming onto Zoom today, even though I was on the tech check earlier, everything worked perfectly. And then I was coming on the second time and it was like, oh, you need a different link. And it's minutes before coming on to talk to all of you. And I realized that every time I put my email address in, it gave me this message, let me try a different email address. I tried a different one and I got in. So the ability to be able to spot, okay, what are the patterns? Because that's what AI is, even as well, part of it, I should say, not the entire thing, but you're looking for patterns. So if there's just to reiterate, a way that you can create project-based learning opportunities, even if there can be some gamification in there for students, that would be extremely helpful. And then any clubs or even going and integrating with maybe some other programs that schools are doing, so that, because there's a saying that I've heard recently and I've adopted, that collaboration is the new currency. So if our students are prepared, knowing that I don't have all of the answers, but if I ask my friend, if I even ask someone at another school, like those are the things, because we are now in a global economy. So those are just some of the ways that I think about it. And just to end on this point, the World Economic Forum has already said the number of jobs in 5 years, 78 million new jobs. So even a lot of what we're talking about today is also going to be the foundation for what's to come. So constantly being future ready is what I like to say.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Nikhil?
Yeah, that's a great things to know, like what Liberty said about it. And apart from that, also I would like to share, like it should be more like, I'd say, hands-on at schools, and it shouldn't be started that AI is something like a huge thing that you have to achieve or something like that. You have to make it simpler. You have to understand that AI is nothing actually. So that AI is nothing, everyone can achieve it or like learn it or something like that. You have to start with a slow piece so that people can start learning it rather than thinking that, hey, this is not something I can do it or something like that. So it should all start about the mindset. How are we trying to train the minds, or like what are we trying to put into the minds of the students? So it's more about like that's the important thing I would believe. That's really important for anyone in general. But like as you are like very engaged, it's more about like where you tend to deviate a lot. So that is when like you need a pretty much straightforward things where you can really understand what is really required to start on something. And next to that, most important thing is about like knowing like what is really ethical about using AI. So I mean, that's like a subjective thing, but even then like teachers or like even like professionals whoever they reach out to, they should always try to share these things more about like what is really ethical and what are the things that have to do using AI, not something really which it's more about like what can help them and other students and the community in general. So that is more about technology. We should not really try to use technology to harm others. So in general, we have to try to explain and like teach them like what exactly is the use of it and like how they can use in day-to-day activities. Like I'll just give an example. Like recently, I was at Georgia Tech to judge a hackathon, and like some students presented me like there were a lot of different things, but one small thing that was very much I liked about it is more about like you upload a book, like a complete book, and like let's say if a book has like 500 like 50 chapters, so even then you have to scroll through each chapter and see it and like what exactly is these diagrams or like what exactly are the pictures inside it and something like that. So they built a tool, like what they say is like if you search for something around about the book, it will give you like a graph kind of thing, like a very good graph kind of thing. You can click on it and go to the each chapter and see what are the pictures and what that chapter says about, and then you can get into the chapter rather than you searching for it and doing something. It was really great. So these are some things like the students can start looking into to solve the day-to-day problems, like how they can make education, like how they can study different things in an easier way. I know definitely there are like a lot of voice, like text to picture, or like lot of AI tools. We already have them, but it doesn't mean that you can't do anything because they already exist. So there's always a use case that you have to solve. So you can still use the same technology and try to solve your own problems.
Use cases, yes. Hands-on use cases, get that brain working, get the problem solving juices flowing. Very good. Thank you,
Yeah, that's
Nikhil.
right. Yeah.
Dr. Phoenix?
Yeah, so I think there are like three kinds of perspectives when it comes to leveraging AI. Some folks are super excited and willing to move forward and try it. Um, I think there's some folks that are either neutral or somewhere like they're interested, but they have a few reservations, but they could be persuaded and they're open-minded. And then some folks that are just completely like, no, it's going to replace the human brain. It's going to keep students from being able to think critically and to problem solve on their own. And so I think what's very important to teach anyone about AI, but especially students as they prepare to continue in their academic and career journeys, is that AI is a tool. It's not an author. We are still the author, right? We still have our own ideas. We tell the AI, we input as much information as we can from our human brain of what we think and what we believe and what we're trying to get across. And then we can leverage AI as a tool to support us to elaborate on that, to frame it, to outline the order in which we might speak about these things to get our point across, or even as an assessment to give it key factors of what we hope to achieve, and then ask it, does it meet those factors, right? Does it align with those things? And if not, what are some recommendations that I can implement? And so as we teach students how to use AI, I think the more that we get into their minds that it's a tool, right? Like we can go onto Google and find many different articles and use that information to formulate a response to a question. But Google's not the author. The author is the authors of those articles or whatever sources of that information might be. And so the same thing with AI. It's just a big cloud of data, if you will. And if you ask AI something, it's just going to pull from this big cloud of data. But if you frame it, if you really put time into the input of what you put into the prompting, the stronger the output will be. And so you can continue, it's almost like iterative, right? When I use AI, it's never a one and done. There's usually about 20 prompts until I get to the end of like what I really want. And it's because I'm still using my mind, I'm still reading what it's producing and thinking critically, like, does this even make sense, right? Because sometimes folks will use AI and they'll just paste exactly what it produces. Sometimes maybe not even read it. Maybe they might skim it and like, oh, this seems relevant to what I want to say, so paste. But what we don't realize is folks that use AI, especially, I can almost instantly tell if AI generated some type of content. Not because I'm critical, but just because I use AI so much, so I know what it produces just through the work that I do. And so anytime I use AI, I always think about how can I really still incorporate my human brain and my thoughts to make this still seem like a human produced it, even if AI did support me in developing it. I don't want one to read it and instantly think, oh yeah, AI did this. And so if you get anything from that, just really like be open to using it as a tool and just continue to remind students that it's not an author. Don't take what it gives you at face value because you really have to do some iterative processing, prompting, and just keep going with it. Almost as if you're talking to a human, right? Like if I was having a conversation with a tutor, it's not just I ask one question and then, okay, tutoring is over. I understand everything, right? It's back and forth questions of, okay, now that I know this, what about this? Okay, and thinking of that, how could I incorporate this, right? So it's still a big piece of us coming up with our own ideas, but it can be used to streamline and make things way quicker or really just frame our minds and give us a good starting point so that we have a frame or a shell to build onto.
Leda, can I add to that
Yes,
piece?
you can.
Because I got this visual, and I think, and while we work a lot with clients, we always, just like Dr. Phoenix said, we always say like, you're the subject matter expert, like you control it. And since we are speaking to students, and don't clown me, y'all, but when you get like the latest dance trend, or even clothes wise, you might go to the store and you buy it, but then you like to wear your hat sideways, you like to wear one earring, you like to roll up your pant leg, whatever that is, you add your zhuzh, your essence to your personal style. Well, think about the AI and the tools. So you might use Gemini, you might use ChatGPT, and it does some of the work for you. But then when you go into it, now add your sauce to it. So again, dating myself, my daughter would cringe right now if she heard all of the words that I just said. But hopefully, that's just painting a really good picture on what Dr. Phoenix just said.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
I'd like to
Yes,
add one more
love the
point.
sauce.
Yeah.
Nikhil?
Yeah, I'd like to add, it's definitely important, like what Phoenix said. Like a lot of people definitely think that what if someone thinks that I'm using AI and generating content and using AI to do different things? It's definitely an important point there because we can definitely use AI for everything that we want, but it's more about like we still want that human feel, like when we want it. So like even like the thing is like AI tries to be smart. It's just that it wants to impress us with what it does. So that's one reason it tries to use like a lot of really good words, like some words I don't even know some meanings. I have to use like dictionary to understand what exactly is that word because I don't really use it every day. So it's more of like people want to know, like even when you want to talk or read when you send something, it's good to try to write it in try to iterate it what AI is generating to write it in a little normal way rather than like very crazy like scientific way so that people tend to feel like, oh, I have to probably read it twice, thrice to understand what they're saying.
Very good, very good. So AI is a tool. We need to help educate that tool by originating content ourselves. And I'm going to use the sauce. Put your own special sauce into what you put out there because
Definitely.
it's going to contribute to the community. And for educators and students alike, just knowing what you're working with, the diverse applications that are possible, identifying a problem, coming up with an exercise to create a solution. I mean, all of that. Thank you so much for all of that information. Dr. Phoenix, any closing statements?
No, I appreciate the other panelists emphasizing and elaborating on that piece about using AI. I just I think it's very powerful, right? And I think it's going to continue to get even more advanced. And I think Nikhil brought up a really good point. It just wants to sound smart, right? Like it's almost as if someone wrote something and then they used the online thesaurus for every single word. And then imagine how that would read, right? Like the word might be synonymous or similar enough that they would list it in the thesaurus, but imagine reading it out as a sentence and would it actually make sense? And so I think sometimes AI, it's the same way. But the great thing about AI is that you can really prompt it to have a certain tone, to write from a certain perspective, from a vantage point. You can even upload your own content of things that you have written so that part of the cloud data that it's pulling from are things that you have written so it sounds like you. It matches the tone that you use or maybe words that you commonly use. So there's really powerful ways to build AI up as much as possible to really make it your own. But if it just pulls from this general cloud, it's just going to pull. And I think one great way to think about it is you could tell two students and teachers, I would actually encourage you to try this in your classroom. Get two students and ask them on separate computers, devices to do the same thing in ChatGPT. And I guarantee you the result each of them get is probably going to be 70 to 80% the same. So imagine you're applying for jobs and you're writing cover letters or a resume, and everybody that's applying is saying, please create a cover letter for this job, copy paste. So as recruiters are going through this, they're like, I feel like I've seen this cover letter before. Oh, wait, here it is again, right? It's instantly recognizable that, okay, this is likely AI. So one, it's not that we shouldn't be using AI, but if we're just taking it at face value, that might show recruiters and educators or people that are going after opportunities such as further education that we want people that understand how to use AI the right way. And even though they know how to use AI because they created this isn't the right way to use AI. And so maybe it can be counterproductive that they want to write something that sounds so smart, but then it could be used against them that, oh, but they don't have their own mind, right? Like they didn't think to like really read this and make sure. So use AI, but be very smart about it and build it up as much as you can and prompt it as strong and detailed as you can, and you're going to have a stronger result.
Thank you. Liberty?
Yeah, I echo all of what Dr. Phoenix said, and it's been fun being with you all this morning. I just want to leave everyone with, we've spoken a lot about the jobs of the future and how we can use these tools, but a part of this is also being responsible with AI. So responsible AI, the ethics part of it as well. So definitely encouraging the teachers, educators, any parents on, and even students yourselves, look those things up. And as we hear things, not only in the news, but just overall, because it's important. And while it's learning us, it's also learning on historical data. So that's why we have to add our sauce. That's why we need to be involved so we can give it new data to really understand the way that our world is right now. So hopefully that is helpful. We also do this by, you see my name, Women in AI Futures, really helping women to understand how to use it in their tools and in their systems.
Very good. Thank you. We actually have a couple of questions, Nikhil. One that I do want you to address.
Okay.
So the rumor is that AI is going to take over jobs.
Mhm.
Is that true? What should we look for? How should we skill up to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Okay, to be honest, I don't know. Okay, so because we can't really say like it will take away jobs or it will keep the jobs. It's just that we have to be curious, explore, and always learn whatever is it need not be like whatever is trending exactly. It's more about what you like, and at the same time trying to see what fits into the market. because end of the day, you always want to earn some good name, earn some good money, and earn some good job which you like. End of the day, so you have to mix in both. Like put in your heart, like understand what you like, and see how you can take it to different things. Like I can just give an example. So recently I went to a furniture store. Like for me personally, I don't really like anything plain. I like a lot of colorful things. So I try to even like my furniture or anything in my home, it's morely like mix of colors or like different colors. So like I looked at one furniture, it was very pretty new for me. So it was they did use like AI in 3D printing. So it was very nice. It looks very different. So I'm just giving this example because AI or like any other technology is not about just coding or programming or math or like being a doctor. So it's always like it can be like art, fashion, or it can be anything that you can get into and you can still use AI. So it's more about I would say like but to just give an answer, it doesn't definitely make your jobs or like less or more. It makes it more interactive and interesting that you can do like if you without AI, like probably you can do one thing in one day or like two things in a day. But while with using AI, probably you can do the same thing like two times, three times, four times. It's just that your productivity increases. That is how AI helps here. So with that, you can do multiple things rather than just sticking to one thing that you are interested in.
Very good. So diversifying what you research and taking a almost a heart-centered approach to your career. Make sure you love what you do
Yes,
and
that's right.
skill up accordingly, and that passion will come through. And so as for careers being taken over by AI, it sounds to me you still need a person. You still need an operator, right? We've heard that from from each of you today. You still need the contributions of the community for the AI to then move forward with whatever function it's going to perform. Now, Dr. Phoenix, is there such a thing as free without strings, right? What are the dangers about of using open source AI?
That's that's a really good question. The first thing I'll say about free versions versus paid versions, I have the premium chat GBT, and I will tell you there is a significant difference in one, what you can do, right? What it limits you to do. And I think it's $20 a month, right? So to me, it is well worth $20 a month because of the time that it saves me and how useful it can be. An example is that let's say I want to read 10 articles, right? But maybe I don't have time to read 10 articles because an article can be 10, 20, 30, sometimes 40 pages long. And maybe I just really need to understand high level overview of these things. With the free version, I would not be able to upload all 10 of those PDF articles because it would not allow me because there's only so much you can do in the free version. With the premium version, I would be able to. And so that's one way to think about the free versus premium. With anything, the premium's always going to be better usually, and that's why there's a price that's associated with it. And usually they make it so significantly better that you almost feel compelled that I should be using the paid version because this is going to allow me to do significantly much more than what the free version does. Um, I don't know how true that it might be, is that I imagine that at some technical level, the outputs based completely just off the more you can input into the prompting from the premium version, that it likely does yield a better output. In terms of open AI and this concept, this is a big place that they're thinking about in the legal field right now. And for lawyers of, they also are considering how can we use AI to better support the research that we do, looking at across all these documents and looking for keywords and themes, right? Like it could really speed up the process for them. But one thing to think about is anything you put into ChatGPT, if it's in an open source, now it lives there forever, right? And so think about the confidentiality or the sensitivity of the information that might be involved in with the work that lawyers do. So that
Yes.
is a big concern, and I think that's where the ethics and where a lot of the bigger conversations are being had about how can we make sure that in using AI, it is a cloud and it is accessible, and even think about the biases of the data that might exist based off who's using the AI and who's pouring into the cloud, basically.
Very good. Thank you. We are wrapping up this segment for today's learning event. So thank you so much, Liberty. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Dr. Phoenix. So much wonderful information. If you'd like, please in the chat, if you have a website, a blog, any way for the audience to contact you directly, please share that in the chat. And again, wow, a lot of great information. Babita, I'll turn it over to you now.